What's up, everybody? It's Garrett, American Muscle HD, and behind me is a brand new truck that we're gonna review right now. We're on site. I wore the wrong shoes. So, it's a 2019 Ford Ranger, 4-door Lariat, 4-wheel drive. Obviously you're thinking, this isn't really American Muscle, but it's okay. Because I've worked with Chevy and I've worked with Dodge and I've done cool vehicles with them, but this is the first time I've done something with Ford. About a month ago, I was at an event with the GT500 and I met some folks from Ford and they said, well, they asked me what I did and I told them and they said, well, let's get you in some press cars to do some reviews on it. So I said, all right, that's cool by me. So the first vehicle they gave me is this 2019 Ford Ranger, Lariat, 4-wheel drive, all that good stuff. So we're gonna get into it and I'm gonna tell you everything I like about it, what you don't like, what I don't like about it, and you can take it for what you want. You know, if you considered buying one of these for a daily, maybe you'll go off of my recommendation. So let's get into it. So the Ford Ranger comes with two engine options, one naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, and this one comes with a turbo 4-cylinder, 2.3 liter, 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. And it's really not a slouch. I was worried that it didn't have enough power. Just putting around town, it kind of wants to drop, wants to upshift, so it wants to get into fuel mileage, but it doesn't really want to give you any kind of performance. Well, when I got on the highway and I had to pass somebody and I put my foot down, it dropped some gears and the turbo spooled up. It gets out of its own way. So you have passing power on the highway and it gets along pretty good. And it feels great rolling down the highway at 80 miles an hour. I've ridden in a Colorado ZR2, which is obviously a little bit more than this truck. It's made to be off-road. It's got the performance shocks and all that stuff. This is just something that you can take off-road if need be because it's 4-wheel drive. It's got a lot of ground clearance. These tires are pretty good with grip and everything like that. So honestly, if you have to take this vehicle off-road, you'll be good. It'll get you where you gotta go. So the interior of this truck is pretty comparable to any truck, I guess. The Lariat edition is what this truck is. Has full leather interior. You have a touchscreen navigation unit. You have this pretty banging Olufsen sound system that sounds ridiculous. I might say so myself. I was actually blown away when I found out that the Ranger had I saw B&O on the tweeter. I'm like, how does the Ranger has a banging Olufsen sound system? They had those in Aston Martins, so that gives you a little context to the quality of this truck. You have all your normal controls. I mean, you got your air conditioning, you got a couple 12 volts, you got a couple of USBs. The way these buttons are positioned, they're a little odd. It probably just takes some getting used to. When I've been driving down the interstate and I wanted to adjust the AC controls, I've actually had to take my eye off the road to find where the button for the fan controls were. Again, like I said, that could be something that can just be fixed over time. Hand placement, muscle memory, you'll find where the buttons are over time. Just getting used to the truck, having only for a week, I've missed it and I've had to look down forward, take my eye off the road, so that's a little bit of a hazard. Other than that, a few things that I've noticed that the interior of this truck doesn't have is it doesn't have cooled seats and it doesn't have a heated steering wheel. Now, obviously right now it's still the end of the summer, so who needs a heated steering wheel? But the cooled seats would be a really nice option considering that it's still the end of the summer and these are leather seats. I've gotten in the truck with the seats and boy, they were hot. I figured what better thing to have than cooled seats, and it didn't have it. But it does have heated seats, which is a nice thing in the wintertime. And these all could be options that could be added later. I personally just don't know if they're an option or if they're just not available on this truck. Considering the price point of this truck, I figured that those two things would be included in as amenities in the interior, but they're not. They could be added on, I don't know, because it's not fully topped out. I think fully topped out this truck is $48,000, and this one's stickered at $45,000 or just under $45,000. Personally, now I know it's competition like the Colorado ZR2, the Tacoma TRD Pro. Those trucks are probably all about pretty similar, these trucks. But for me personally, if I'm looking at a truck and I'm looking at $45,000, I'd personally spend up a few more $1,000s and get a half-ton truck over, you know, one of these smaller pickup trucks, personally, because you have a little bit more room on the interior, you have a bigger bed, you have more power, you know, you have more tow rating, you know, it's just a little bit more convenience of having a bigger truck. I'd spend those few thousand more dollars. But this truck does have benefits, and I've been thinking about that when I did this video as to, you know, who would buy this truck. People that live in a suburban setting maybe, or a city setting, because it's not a big truck. It's not very long. It's got a great turn. It's got an SUV type turning radius, which is nice. You can make U-turns pretty good. You can whip into parking spots pretty well. So that, you know, that is where, you know, owning this truck would be convenient if you lived in those type of settings. Take on the 2019 Ford Ranger Lariat 4-wheel drive. I appreciate Ford giving me this opportunity and giving me the chance to review this truck. Hope you guys take everything I've said and apply it to your mindset if you consider buying one of these trucks. If you're looking at a small utility truck and you're comparing it to everything else, just take, you know, what I've said and run with it, I guess. I hope I gave you enough detail, and yeah, we're gonna hopefully do some more videos here in the future, and until next time.